Hello, Internet. This is Daniel with Driving and Dragons. Well, more like Daniel was sitting in traffic with dragons today. But I'm here with another short Game Master tip that should help you kind of keep things moving smoothly in your games. I'll see you on the other side. So today's tip is that your players are not as smart as you think they are. This is not a dig at your players. It's not meant to come across as condescending. But what it comes down to is that you have perfect information and they don't. You know where the story is going. You know all the players, all the pieces, everything that's happening in the world, and they don't, because you're the one who's writing this. So what you've got to understand is that if you're going to put a puzzle or even just a simple plot or character hook in your game to kind of guide the players into the direction you want them to go for the story, you can't bury the lead too deep, because a lot of times they'll miss it. You know every crumb that's in that trail of clues that leads to where you need them to go, and they don't. So they can very easily just kind of step over and not see it. So a lot of times, if you're thinking that a puzzle may be too easy, don't. Just go ahead and put it in your game that way and see how they react. And if you think they pick it up too quick, make it a little bit more difficult next time, and just be prepared that you need to be prepared with a backup, because you're going to hit that cliff. You're going to go from thinking, man, they figured that out real easy, I can't believe they got that quick, to making something that you feel is only slightly harder or slightly more difficult, and they're lost. So just remember that your players, since they're not dealing with all the information that you are, what seems like a very simple thing to figure out for you in your game might be pretty difficult for them. And if you don't believe me, pull out the old Dungeons and Dragons module, the Tomb of Horrors, and don't even get any dice. Just walk your characters through it. Walk your players through some sections of it, and watch how easily they get lost trying to figure out how a secret door works, because they tried it one way and they stopped. And they can't figure out the next path to take or where to go. It's really that simple. And you look at it and you're like, how are they missing this? Particularly that little poem in the beginning of that module. How are they missing this? How do they not know? You're sitting there and they're in room 1 looking at the end of the poem, or they're halfway through the dungeon and they're still looking at stuff from the first verse. It's because they don't have that information that you have. Same thing in your games. Don't bury the lead too deep. And remember that it's probably just a little bit more difficult to figure out than you think. See you next time.